about the dark side of marriage. Before entering there, what shall we be aware of? Here, everyone, of course, wants intimacy, that connection, that extension of yourself, right? But we were never taught that before entering any kind of marriage, we really want to understand what we are actually entering into. I have the right to speak about this. I've been happily married for 10 plus years here. And today I will be unraveling the secrets of marriage through this beautiful card, the Lovers. So the Lovers actually opening us up all the secrets of how to really navigate any kind of bond. Either you are legally married or not, but you're already living together for a while. Legally, it's of course already that much more kind of like consecrated bond. To get out of it is much harder, right? Financially, like emotionally, there is lots of history over there. So today we will be talking specifically how to navigate any kind of bond correctly, what you need to know before you enter that bond so that everything will go in a very smooth way. What does it mean, smooth way? Smooth way means one thing. You flow like a river, right? So when you flow like a river here, like you are like that river, especially it's very applicable to feminine energy. If you're a woman watching me now, so that femininity loves flowing without borders. But you know, when we pick the wrong man for us, right? Or in the Western world, we call it a wrong partner. So we pick the wrong partner, but partner already, it just presumes this fact of transaction. So we never pick the partner based on transactional approach, okay? We pick the partner because it's just the right partner. If we step into any kind of bond, the so-called lovers bond, Hi guys. So if you have any questions, by the way, just let me know here. I will make sure I will answer your questions along the way. So if you pick the partner who is not truly aligned with you, meaning like you ask yourself that question, is this the right partner for me? And there is just like immediate no. Or you sense like, and you start going into these mental thing here, just, I'm not sure, it's time to stop. It's time to stop and actually start contemplating and observing. You know when it is the right partner? The right partner is when you ask yourself that question, is it the right partner for me? Immediate yes. And not driven by your hormones, okay? So those who are very young here watching me, please also step away. Now, once we cross this hormonal border, we actually may see slightly clearly. You know, so I am coming initially from Siberia, and in Siberia, you know, most of girls, they are getting married at the age of 20, 25. You're still in that hormonal rush. So, and all the society is actually just bringing it to you, hey, you need to get married, you need to have more kids. But this is creating so many disturbances in families. This is creating so many problems because we rush into marriage, not even understanding where we step into. And instead of having that beautiful river flow, instead of really opening us up to something beyond who we are and reuniting with the right soul for us, our soulmate, we reunite with someone who is completely not aligned with us. And then guess what? Lots of suffering follows. So this, instead of that beautiful river, becomes like a tornado. This becomes like a huge storm. There's a ring the bell for those who are in marriage here. Okay, so when the woman is not happy, she will create lots of storm, right? So not to get into that storm and self-destruction, and not to go to that frustration, which actually kind of like dries out your river flow, your soul flow. You want to be very meticulous Be very, very meticulous about that right partner, because this card actually shows us if the partner is not correct, we go to the flip over, and then guess what? The wall starts growing, the wall between. And then, you know, for those who are in marriage here or in some bond, you probably, or you had some separation, you probably noticed that, you know, when it is actually close to separation, the silence between you both, gets very heavy. It gets so heavy. And day in, day out, it gets even heavier. It gets to that state like it is that freaking mountain between you. You don't hear, you don't listen to each other. You cannot. You're kind of like deaf to each other. And even if you want to kind of like say, hey, listen to me, he doesn't listen or she doesn't hear. So these things happen when the misalignment between both happened, then it's time to stop. Okay, so the way to get out of there is that contemplation. Remember, when you are in the tornado between both, meaning the disharmony, the disbalance, there is no tower. So I will show you something. One of the books which really taught me that balance is this one. For many of you, I will highly recommend. Tao Te Ching. You probably see it from right to left here because I'm just streaming it for you guys. So sorry for that. But it's called Tao, T-A-O. Tao Te Ching by Stephen Mitchell, I think so. Yeah, Stephen Mitchell, Tao Te Ching. You can make a screenshot. It's amazing. It's just showing how to get to the center. You can buy it on Amazon very easily. Very small book for those even who don't want to read too much, but you read it like verses, like poem, and it's opening you up to that centeredness. So you come back to the center out of all the chaos, because when you are in the chaos, and chaos has its qualities. Chaos is like that mountain between them. Chaos. It's very heavy when you are in chaos. Okay, so when you are in chaos in between each other in your relations, you know, you start communication and it's heavy. It's not flowing. It feels like work. You know, I know what I'm talking about. I've been in a few relationships before my marriage, and they were not successful, of course, if I just picked the other man. And I will tell you, every time before that final separation, it feels heavy. So you want to stop. At minimum, just contemplate for your own sake. And one thing for you women who are just watching me right now is specifically related to women, because we have the tendency to serve. And then that tendency gets to the tendency to please him. Now he eats it like kiwi. You are not like that, kind of like a peach, right? When there is some bone inside and there is the fruit. When he eats you, kind of like he so enjoys you like a kiwi, but he ate a kiwi and then he goes away. But you need to have that thing in you, like that small bone, that when he eats and enjoys that pleasantness of you in your surrounding, he actually knows that there is the border. He cannot cross it. Otherwise, I tell you, that's what's happening to many women. They go to losing themselves, turning into that kiwi mode when there is nothing firm within. So those guys, they all inevitably, when they start living with those kiwi women, right? Kiwi women, when there is nothing firm, and the woman kind of like, no, it's all for him. And we get into that kiwi state. But then those relationships, those kiwi relationships, how I call it. So when we go through those kiwi relationships, they teach us self-love. Okay? They teach us self-love. And then that woman has that sacred border within her. And then she steps into new relationships. She never allows the other man to treat her that way. Okay? Now, coming back to the dark side of marriage, let's get back to it. So when we enter the marriage, the question before entering it, and by the way, I am talking to those who don't have the predetermined marriages, because in the East there are so many designed already marriages when fathers, they already pre-agreed. So it's the privilege for us, for people in the West, right, to really choose that partner. But at the same time, from choice, we are suffering many times. But we have the possibility to pick the right one based on our soul search. So from one side, we are more kind of like free from that, but from another side, that freedom creates that suffering. Now, there are rules to follow here. So the question before you enter that marriage is he the right one? And I already mentioned about it here. So if there is no that immediate answer, again, after the hormonal stage in your life, when you are after 25, okay, so after 25 years, if the immediate answer is yes, and you feel that coolness within, it's not like you are driven into that, hey, there are hormones. No, no, no. It's just like, yes, I see it's the right man. I see him. So if that is the thing, then that's it. You will not be mistaken in that. But if you are in doubt, let me think something, or nope, you already know the answer, what needs to be done, right? So don't step into any kind of those legal relationships, especially because kind of like it will create so much irritation, suffering, hatred, whatever. Why to go there? And we as women, we risk to have kids with those men. So why to even bound ourselves with them who are not aligned with us? There is too much suffering. My mom, for example, she bounded herself with a man who was not for her, and I appeared. And then, guess what? I look exactly how my father looks. I was a continuous reminder for her, for that man. Every time looking at me, she said, what a punishment. Can you imagine? So that was a punishment for her, and then I perceived it as her child, that I'm a punishment. It creates massive suffering, vicious cycle. So it creates really heavy karma. So we wanted to step away of these and step into the bond, which is truly amazing. So that first question, is he the right man, right? Condition after 25 years old. Hormonal stuff has passed. So we can see. Now, there are three things which you can check in a guy, specifically if you are a woman, because I can talk from the woman's perspective. So he must have the following things. And I tell you, you will always win if he will have them. Number one, intelligence. He must be intelligent, right? So he must be slightly more intelligent, not too much, and not in here. If he is not intelligent for your level, right, of intelligence, we all have different levels of intellect here. If he is not interesting to talk to, right, so it's very important. You will be bored with him. So don't go there, even if he earns a lot of money, but he's not deep enough for you. You will get bored with him, I promise you. Don't really betray yourself because of money pursuit. Don't do that. You will suffer. Now, number two, he must have a really good heart. Good heart. Meaning that thing which cannot be taught. Everyone has hearts of gold here. However, there are things which darken the heart. Okay? Too much childhood traumas, check his family lineage. Just come back, talk to his family. You will see how many traumatic experiences could have been there. So just see, because otherwise there will be too much work. These things will open up, I promise you, after that marriage, and you don't want to suffer in that. So those who are in marriage, they already know what I'm talking about. So the first thing which I actually checked, I checked the family of my soulmate, of my current husband. I immediately went to his family after some time. So we had that dinner. I was seeing all these tendencies and trends, the unseen one. And we can see, we can sense it, because even if he doesn't show them, they will show up, because we can see who was his mother, who was his father, right? If he is, let's say, from some he didn't have mother and father. He was raised in a certain environment. There are certain facilities for children who are left, right, without mothers, fathers. You want to see that space as well. Just, hey, honey, can you introduce me where you've been? You want to see that. And it also gives you information. Wait, he was raised without parents. Interesting. Which kind of qualities can be there? So you must see beyond, right? Women are very, very powerful in that. So you need to do that one choice, picking the right one. Then all your life with him will be smooth and easy. And quality number 3, guess what is this? I would love to see if someone will just actually try to guess and write it here. What could be that quality number 3, which when you just really see that in conjunction with those two, good heart and intelligence, you will definitely win in that marriage. So let's see if someone will type in here. Hi, Chant Perry. So very nice to see you all guys here. Try to write, try to guess. What do you think is that third quality? I'm waiting for a few more seconds. Okay. I don't see guys. I'm from Siberia, by the way, so I see those questions here. All right, so let me then open you that secret. So he, your partner, right? He actually must be willing to learn and grow. Learn and grow. It's very important for a man. Extremely important. And also that learning must be in pace with you. We women, we're extremely curious by nature. We are curious about everything, but some are actually less curious. Some want to grow less. So that growth, that learning and growth curve must be aligned as well. So if you see that you're like a learner, he must be a learner as well. I am a learner by my nature. So every person who is in their spiritual evolution, they actually are naturally learning souls. They love to learn, okay? On every spiritual event where I've been, was seeing how all these souls are extremely into that learning curve. Learning. So this means if you pick that partner and you really think from soulmate perspective and smoothness of your marriage, you want to actually see that quality in him. So, summary, 3 qualities. Intelligence, your level or slightly higher, not too much. Otherwise, he will dumbify you with his intelligence, you know. Don't do that too much of a gap. So it must be like there. And you evaluate it through the questions. Number 2, good heart. Really. And you check it, understanding like how kind he is, how he treats people around, how he treats servants in the restaurant, how he treats those beggars on the street, how he treats children. You come to his family, you see what's happening there, what are the relations in the family. You can see many tendencies. And then you will identify these just by summarizing that picture, okay? Understand one thing, dominating men with lots of really crazy tendencies in them, striving for power, they will dominate you, they will put you into the cage, there will be suffocation, there will be really craziness. We as women, we love that freedom, we love that flow, right? When you go to that, bond with a dominating man, you are doomed to suffer. He will be jealous of you. He will be doing lots of stuff in a very, very this leash will just be over your neck. So if you want to experience it, come on, I say, just go there. But domination and that rulership does not bring happiness, truly. Only in case if you want to experience that maybe role of a victim. That's all right, because victim always attracts the dominator. So we don't want to be in that position. We want just that free space, right? Especially we as women, we love free energy, right? We love a leader, but we love also being free. So, guys, if you are listening to me, I'm opening to you up also the secrets how to actually treat a woman if you notice it attentively, right? How to create that sacred bond which will be flowing between each other. Domination doesn't work. You only will attract those victimized, immature women. I tell you, if you want to do that and you want to experience that, well, that's beautiful. She will only look at you like a puppy, but that's it. That's all what you get. You cannot truly get that essence. Let me show you. Oops. I cannot find it here in my room. No, there is one. So here it is. You will not really get that essence of a rose. Okay? So if she's a puppy, these things will start, as you can see, get out. She will get even uglier and uglier in her expression. Neither of the women loves domination. Our dream is sovereignty. All right? Everyone here, if you agree with that, if you're a woman listening to me, just type in here that you agree, because this is actually what makes that flourishing aspect, that rose within us. Domination never worked, so we don't love that kind of like with those borders, right? Like every free spirit. And by the way, once you stand into that marriage, how to hold that marriage. Let's say you answered those 3 questions. He has that beautiful heart of gold, beautiful tendencies. He's kind, he's generous. It's easy to work with him, right? So we love to be around such men, generous, kind men. We love those men like kings who provide that space for us to flow. Now, if he's intelligent, kings are intelligent, and we want to be queens, right? So we pick that king with keen tendencies. And then he has that learning capability. He loves to learn. He's a learner in life. He loves to evolve. His energy is flowing in that evolution. Now, once those things are answered in the positive way, and we also ask a question, is he the right man? And we have that after hormonal stage in our life has passed, we have that instant answer, yes, with the coolness of our mind, right? We are going into marriage like investors, because we start working with that man in that sacred bond. It's not just transactional thing. We create something beautiful here. So I am eligible to talk about this. I've been married happily for 10 plus years. 10 plus years I'm married. So this just shows that what I communicate to you works. We still have that romance and we have that mutual devotion to each other. This is possible to attain with the certain conditions. And the first condition, let me show you that condition. This is actually what I came to after lots and lots of struggle in my first 3 years of marriage. So once you get married, you know what? You will start really facing shades. And these shades are in here between, facing shades of each other. You need to understand, when you get married, you don't just marry the person. You actually invite in your bed, in your dinner table, many other people. I tell you, there are so many there. And they shaped us, all these in here. So all the stories of life, all the people who influenced that being, you actually invite them into your space. That's why some are really afraid of marriage and say, as I see here even in the comments, marriages are scary. Well, yeah, they are scary because you realize this is not just one person whom you marry actually a crowd. So if you marry that crowd, this is just for you to understand, you still marry a human being, but there is that cloud instead of crowd. Okay? Cloud. And that cloud, it's all the stories of life of that person. It's all the stories in which that person has been locked to in his mental activity. And look what's happening there. This is happening there. Show me even one single being. except enlightened one, gurus, maybe somewhere in India, just like this, right? Show me those people who are truly standing in that concentrated peace, or walking through life in the eye of the tornado around. And they are continuously standing in that dynamic equilibrium. If you actually search for such a person, you limit your choice to, I don't know, maybe 1, 2 people in the whole world. That's not good, all right? So we, in this case, have tremendous amount of competition for that man or that woman, and we also cannot truly evolve. Most people today are not in dynamic equilibrium. Most people today are in their clouds, and that's all right. It's not our fault. And guess how tremendously perfect works this reality? The cloud of yours, your cloud, attracts his cloud. This is working on the energy level. Do you remember that everything behind matter is energy? It was proved to be true through quantum physics, right? You remember that formula. Energy is mass. It equals to mass multiplied by speed of light quadrant, right? So Albert Einstein actually came to that understanding. So today we actually get this even mathematically proved. Maybe we don't sense it still with our eyes, but we sense it. We're like, you enter the room, the energy is dense there. Someone is angry. We immediately sense it. Everyone can sense it. You don't need to be psychic to see it, right? If the person is angry, can you sense it before he even speaks? Absolutely. So by having that in mind, you all sense energy. You are all psychic. You all can sense the unseen. So having these in mind, coming back to that energy perception, we with our cloud, right, with all the cloud which is in here, we attract the perfect cloud for ourselves. That cloud will help us to look at ourselves as a mirror. So when we start living with that person, he irritates us or she irritates us, just triggering certain things here to cleanse them. So not every bond here is designed to be forever. How they continuously market it to us, it needs to be forever, just forever. No, some bonds are designed to clean us before we enter into the ideal partnership. So I had actually 2 bonds before my marriage. I had to clean some stuff from me, really. Now, if you are stuck into that idea, it's one and forever, you will keep coming back to that man. I know a few women who get stuck into those relationships because they have the belief, hey, I am impure. That's it. I'm only with these men. But wait, this man is torturing you. You actually stay impure into those relationships. You need to purify yourself. If you feel impure after that bond, you actually say that matter is beyond energy. You can purify yourself after any bond. You have the power for that. Yes, you may get too much kind of like dirt of his clouds or her clouds if this is not so-called right man for you. But you can do that purification at any moment. And there are processes for that. All right, I had done it. So you can do it as well. Anyone can do it. If you're a human being, there are processes for that. And you do it first and foremost by allowing that idea into yourself. If you get stuck into the idea, I am dirty after those relations, then you only need to suffer. You have to suffer. You shut down your door. The door is shut down. You cannot open the new one. There is a saying, the new door can be opened only after the previous one is shut. So you want just to see it that way. But if you kind of like get stuck in that bond, you come into that firm state. And guess what? You become like that brittle flower. And let me show you the brittle flower. So this is actually the brittle flowers. And I want to show you what happens to be with a brittle flower, this beautiful ikebana. So let's look at this. So if you're a brittle flower in relationships with that person, look, I just entangle you and life is entangling you. Look what happened. That's what happened. Brittle gets broken. Okay? So there is no that nourishment, that nurture, which will help you to actually attain that full potential. Now, this is the brittle flower. This is not the brittle flower. This is actually a nurtured flower. Look, I entangle it. So what? I entangled it. What's happening to it? I can entangle it. Look, I can entangle it like this. Look what's happening. It's still coming back. Why? Because there is that still water within this. Now look at this. It's just brittle. Slightly I entangle it. Just slightly. Look, it's broken. That's what's happening to ours when we go to the world of mental constructs and to our beliefs. No, I'm with this partner only. I have children. It's all about that. You know, so when you get stuck into that idea, you get brittle. And then what's happening truly is you become like that mountain, and that mountain actually does not feel anymore. Nothing. You become like a stone. That's it. And then by the end of your life, you're just like part of that furniture in the house. You don't feel. The worst thing what can happen is when you are in relationships, in that bond, and say, I am 35 years with this person. And you say proudly, but after 35 years, you're like this. This is the worst thing what can happen, all right? So understanding it, you will always see that you must preserve this. This is actually that I feel through this marriage. And through this marriage, I actually evolve. Through this marriage, I actually come there to open up my potential. This marriage, even if somehow, you know, I see those pains and whatever, I accept it as healing possibilities, but I still feel through this marriage. And this marriage, once I accept that healing, it comes back to that pleasantness. It may not be pleasant in the beginning, but naturally you evolve, you kind of purify all the dirty waters of all this dirt gets purified, and then sun starts shining, just like you see how we transcend these card, how we transcend the brittle marriage, how we transcend the brittle flower of marriage to the rose. And that transcendence actually brings us evolutionary to getting more determined, opening up our spiritual gifts. My spiritual gifts actually got opened in my marriage. I couldn't open them before. So I have a dear friend of mine, and he's afraid of marriage. And I tell him, hey, beautiful soul, you actually don't know what you say no to. Here is how you do it. And I tell him the steps. This is how you do it, okay? He doesn't listen. He's afraid so much. So he cannot truly go to opening up all his gifts. He's doing his small practice, but he could do so much more. So when you actually do it right, the marriage stops being a burden. The marriage stops being scary. The marriage actually gets to the place when you can open yourself up to something more. And remember, not every marriage here is designed to be forever. Some are designed to heal you so that you keep moving forward. And you don't need to go necessarily into that legal pursuit. And be cautious when you are in that relationship to that man or woman, so that if you are not still in that long-term thing, just be cautious not to have children, not to create those sufferings even more. If it already happened, that's all right. You never kill life. But if you are not sure, you're kind of like testing each other, This is not the place, believe me. You don't want to burden the man with the children. I knew some women, they wanted that already to burden him. What a crazy idea. Do you know what you step into? The man burdened will never stay with you. Just understand it, because this is the same leash. It's suffering, it's creating the leash. And then the sacred child, which was supposed to be here from love, from true love, that sacred child is happening to be here from leash, from fear. Because we only want to leash someone or something to control. And behind every sense of control is, guess what? It's fear. So once you start seeing what's truly happening behind all these tendencies, you will understand the true gift of marriage. You will also understand the shadow side, the dark side of marriage, and you will see that marriage, in fact, let me show you something. In fact, is like this knife, okay? So you can hurt with it, okay? Like through flesh. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And marriage, it's not when you even legally sign it. It's worse when it's not the right one. You need to separate all these finances and then house, whatever. It's just too much, you know, when all these things get involved. But on top of this, when you even live together, this is also a marriage between you both. So it may hurt you like this, okay? But at the same time, this is a tool. You can cut the bread with it and it becomes pleasant. Can you handle any kind of dish, I'm asking you, in the kitchen without this? The reality gets pleasant. So you just need to understand marriage is nothing but the tool in the evolution of your soul and your consciousness. It was never designed to be a burden. And then once it serves its purpose, let's say, you may lovingly separate as well. It may end up being that you stand in that marriage for all your life because you create that legacy. And then you become like those chariots, serving humanity and moving in creating lots of social projects. These can be as well. There are beautiful bonds like this. I know these couples and it's amazing. So it's all pre-designed for you and for evolution of you. So once you start treating marriage as a tool, not as a goal, as a tool to evolve your beautiful soul, the rose of your soul, you will never end up being in a situation of this brittle flower when you think that the marriage is the only thing to pursue here. How is that? All right, so I hope that all this served you well. Let me know, by the way, guys, if you have any questions. I see ACH, but I don't see that you actually asked question. So if you have questions, guys, that is the time. That is the time. By the way, if you love this, give me thumbs up. It supports me in what I'm doing. It means that you love it. I can come back to you. And subscribe to the channel. I don't come here every day. So if you want to get notified, you want to ask your questions, just make sure you get subscribed to the channel as well. So let me see. I'm still waiting for your questions, guys. So a few more seconds I'm giving you. Then if you have more questions about this topic, how to create that sacred union, and I can tell it from my own experience of 10+ years of marriage, happy marriage, by the way, not a suffering marriage, then you can ask your questions also later in comments. Okay? Henrik, it's not about tarot just here. I want to tell you, it's about extracting the wisdom from tarot. I'm not doing it for fortune telling. So I found actually that tarot is an amazing tool, guys, not for fortune telling in any way, but why I'm using this tool and why I got so excited about it, because of one single thing. This tool has symbolism. We connect to our soul through symbols so easily because we get reminded by something deeper than what we see in this reality of inner truths. Through myths, we can understand things. Through every card has a story. So once we start seeing that story, we enliven ourselves. That's why I actually love this tool, just to enliven our souls, to really, really reconnect with who you are. So if you are, like I had so many people said, but it's against the Bible. I read the Bible, every verse of it, okay? I didn't see that it's against the Bible. The Bible is actually showing us that don't do fortune telling, okay? This tool was misused for many, many times. But if you do use it right, if you use it to reconnect with your center, if you use it to reconnect with your soul, with that thing, it's the same thing as I showed you. Knife can be used differently. It can be used as a tool to kill someone. It can be used as a tool to cut bread. It can be used as a tool to do a suicide. So we never actually make one conclusion based on the tool. The same thing, by the way, with a marriage. So you can die within marriage, right? You can use that tool to transcend you and do the greater good for another soul as well. Together transcend, be devotees of each other, experience that devotion, and then serve the world through that. Serve the world, being that beautiful, amazing cocoon which you weave together, right? Through your happiness. Or you can actually turn into that brittle flower within your marriage, thinking that that's all. What is it? It's kind of a destination. Well, you die in the destination. Remember that. When you attain the destination, you are happy for some while, but guess what? In the destination, you die. So what is important here is that journey, that dynamic equilibrium. And that's what we develop through the sacred bond with each other. How is that? Alrighty, so I don't see questions still here, guys. If you love this session, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Again, I remind you, I'm not here every day, but if you want to hear me more and on time, then just make sure that you are in the channel. All right. I didn't understand what you asked. Is this real THO? What does it mean, though? So, okay. So I will answer your questions already later. I have to go now. Thank you so much. Wishing you a blessed coming day for those of you who are in American Eastern Time and just in this continent. For those of you who are in the rest part of the world, you probably already meet the evening. Thank you. Blessings.